Norristown came up with a couple of excellent turnovers and ended up taking them both in for scores. I mean, from the drives that resulted from them.
Of course.
Okay, Miller to kick. There it is, and the second half has begun. Picked up by...
That's him again.
That's,
there he goes
Oh,
again.
and he's going. That's Sansini, and he's taking it all the way.
Sure.
And nobody can catch him to 10. Touchdown!
And when I say it's him again, it is him again.
That's Matt Sansini, the sophomore sensation out of Central Bucks West.
He just pulled away. The last man who was there to get him was Craig Jones, and he just gapped him.
And that's tough to outrun Craig Jones, but he did it. He's got a lot of speed, that youngster.
I'll tell you, that'll wake you up in a hurry. No coffee needed.
Oh, my. Norristown might be shocked here. 14-6. Will they go for 2 or will they go for 1?
Looks like 1.
Certainly.
Don't want to bury yourself in false errors.
Right, especially with the whole second half ahead of you because of a big play like that.
Warren the kick.
That goes to the right, but it makes it. That's tough. That was a close one.
Oh. That was a tough call for the ref.
14-7. And this game, I cannot reiterate it too many times. It's been a game of big plays.
And when you say big plays,
I mean big plays.
Larger than life.
We've seen Ruttman on 40-yard gains on the ground. We've seen Ramsey picking passes out of the air for touchdowns. Well, actually, once he did that, but it was very close to the end of the half. We've seen Mike Evans catch a nice pass on a 4th down and 16, which kept the Eagles' drive alive and led to a score.
And of course, we've seen Craig Jones snagging a ball out of the air.
Heck, and we've seen a big hit by Jerome Hall cause a turnover from the quarterback. There's the kickoff
By Warren.
and it's picked up by Ruttman. He told me that he was going to run a kickoff back, and he takes it. Oh, he's down at the 42.
And he seemed to have tripped over Ramsey on the way up, but
He had a good blocking core with him.
it took a while for Evans to get up on that one, but maybe just a little bit winded.
We've seen a lot of big plays. Okay, so Sessa, to start off his team in the second half, gives to Ruttman, who runs it around the right end, and he picks up 5.
Nice cut
3
there.
rather.
A nice cut by Ruttman.
Yep, read the blocking.
That's always important for a good running back. You can have power and run over people, but a good one can read the flow of the traffic and get in there and make some fine moves.
That is so true, so true. Even with blockers who are subpar, and I'm not saying any of the blockers out here tonight are, we've seen some excellent offensive lines. A good running back will gain a lot of yards. And Ruttman goes up the middle,
He was popped.
doesn't pick up any.
Just stuffed up inside, and maybe that Central Bucks team is keying in on the run.
All right, 3rd and 6, 10:19 left to play in the 3rd quarter. A little offsides there. Movement before the snap. Looks like it should be against CB West.
Looked like Adam Gattuso
Indeed.
stepped over. He was well into the neutral zone
A
there.
little overzealous. That's a big play because that brings up 3rd and 1. So
As well as that, it moves the team across midfield.
give it to Marcus, we hear a few people say in the booth. And that sounds like a good plan to me.
As offensive coordinator for the Eagles, you find yourself with a lot of offensive ideas.
I'll say.
Quite a good amount of talent on their offensive squad.
And why don't we go over some of those coaches as soon as this play is concluded? Sessa to Ruttman. Ruttman goes around the outside. He's still on his feet. Gets down to the 41.
He didn't get the first down, I don't believe. He just fell short.
Yeah, he got the pardon.
By inches. I believe somebody's down. And he's up. Just like that.
Indeed.
Ernest Henry.
So it's 2nd and 1. Okay, anyway, the coaches for Norristown, head coach Roger Grove, assistants Rich Everts, Joe Fabrizio, Brian Kennedy, Tom Pierantozzi, and Jim Pyle. Athletic trainer is Dennis Flynn. Okay, let's go to the next play, and then we'll get back to Central Bucks West coaches. Sessa has Ramsey wide right, gives to Ruttman over the left end. Ruttman picking up about 10.
A gigantic hole on that left side, just opened up nicely. Nice pull on the blocks.
Some good blocking by Ernest Henry that time.
The head coach for Central Bucks West, Mike Patine, assistant coach Sid Hunsenberger, kicking coach Dr. James Gallagher, team physician Dr. Charles Bernheister, and we'll get back to that after this play concludes.
Ruttman, again, he picks up close to 3.
Getting back to the list, athletic trainers, Michelle Jacobs, Joanne Franklin, and Lisa White. Varsity managers, Paige Swartley, Nicole Loss, Kristen Stebner, Brett Barrett. Statisticians, Bob Schaefer and Fred Schopp. Just a few of the people behind the scenes for Central Bucks. Sessa gives to Ruttman up the middle, and he stopped on a short gain of about 2.
Keep going.
Off the field trots Neil Darden. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for the Eagles. 8 minutes to go in the 3rd. Ramsey's wide left. Sessa takes the snap. He's in the pocket, throws over the middle, and he's down to the 1-yard line.
Mike Evans with an excellent catch. Looked like it was a different play than the one we saw in that 4th and 16 earlier. But essentially the same situation, not the same situation, rather the same area of the field, the same pickup, and the same receiver.
Evans moving up the middle and just catching balls over his head.
Nice pass as well.
A nice night for that young man.
Good night for Sessa so far too. Eagles' passing attack has really been helped by the big plays.
Evans also a senior. Now Sessa gives to Ruttman and touchdown, Norristown, and it's 20-7. Ruttman dives over the middle
for his 15th touchdown of this season. 12th on the rush.
A hero's welcoming to Ruttman.
Can't say enough about that man, Ruttman.
Rodney Miller for the PAT. It is up, and it is good.
Picture perfect. So Miller has missed 1 field goal, but he's converted all 3 of the PATs, and it's 21-7. So the Eagles, they bounced back from that little run-back disaster.
Well, I'll tell you, the Eagles are showing a very balanced attack. Their running game gets a nice run, and their passing game gets a nice pass. It hasn't been very steady, but when they've gotten them, they've been enough gains for the first down.
Meanwhile, I still think that CB West should stick to the run. They started off that way. They were picking up yards by the dozen. And with the wet field, it's somewhat easy to elude the tacklers. They have been picking up a lot of yards. And on the passing, they've been missing their men. They haven't given enough time to their quarterback. And he's really had a problem tonight.
Gilbert and Sassini back. You got to think they'll go to Gilbert. No.
They squib kick it. And he's gang tackled at about close to midfield.
They weren't going to let Sassini get his hands on another football. And there's 7:21 to go in the third quarter. Eagles lead 21-7. CB West hasn't really gotten anything going on the ground besides that first quarter.
Right. They have abandoned their run. But now they use it, and a pickup of about 4.
Going back to the old bread and butter.
That was Lockery. Jack Lockery.
It's going to be second down.
Second and about 5. Yeah, I think if they stick to the rush, they got a good chance of putting some points down.
They don't want to pressure themselves too early.
They have a good offensive line, but it hasn't been helping on the pass. Anyway, there's a pass, and he overthrows his man.
For Warren.
Intended for Warren.
Who is also their kicker.
Indeed. Intended for Warren at about the 20-yard line.
Moylan rolled left, and he had a good amount of room.
He was running the throwing across his, body.
A better pass than they had 6, though.
So that brings up 3rd and 5. I gotta look to the run. Passing has not been effective.
Well, it looks like a run formation.
Certainly does. 2 backs, and they give it up the middle to number 34, Jack Lockery. Picks up the first down.
Well, they moved the chains. Now 40 yards to go for CB West, and the last time they got this far, that's when the pace of the whole game changed on some turnovers.
And he's looking to pass. Fires to the left side.
Again.
Picked by Sansini. Pickup of about 10. It will be a first down. Sansini is having a heck of a game for CB West.
And who's ever covering him has his hands full, because this guy has his confidence up.
Looks like Kem Johnson coming into the game. And I tell you, it's this growth of the youngsters that helps CB West maintain such a good football team over such a long period of time. And we all remember the long win streak that they put together over the past few years.
Indeed.
Which was broken this year.
That play fooled no one, but a nice spinning run by Lockery.
Pickup of about 2, maybe 3.
That play was going nowhere, but he made a spin and a couple steps, and he was gaining 2.
Looks like 2nd and 5. He picked up a little more than
Sansini is wide right. De Blasio is going to be covering. No, it's Kem Johnson.
Kem Johnson going out to cover. And Moylan marks some signals, drops back to pass, a sideline pass to George Gilbert. He can't find much room on that sideline. And he's shoved out of bounds by Jeff Thomas, Craig Jones, Steve de Blasio, and a number of the men in blue.
And once again, I'm going to question the play calling. They were crammed to that side of the field in a short screen pass. Why all the Norristown men are over there anyway? A play that didn't gain much at all.
It'll be 3rd down and 1. He did have some room on the sideline, though. He picked up 4 yards. It's still a risk, though, throwing up that pass when you could just as easily run for 4 yards, perhaps.
Certainly.
They are mixing up their play.
Oh!
Big run by the fullback, Lockery, I believe.
Again breaking tackles.
Yes, that was Lockery's a big guy. He's 5'9", 215. Junior.
Compare that to Ruttman, who is also small and strong. He is 5'6", 160. So there's a little comparison of what each defense is looking
That's
at.
something. That's a 55. Lockery outweighs him by 55 pounds and 3 inches.
But of course, you know, the speed factor always comes into play.
Indeed. But Lockery is more of the fullback, whereas Ruttman is your halfback type runner or wingback. Fakes the handoff. And Evans hawks down quarterback Moylan. Good pursuing by Evans, who wasn't fooled by the fake handoff.
On those rollouts by Moylan, he's had more than enough time, but nobody seems to be open for him. He's just sitting back there with the ball and just running out of time, and men are coming from all directions. Good pressure by the Eagles defense, or the Eagles cornerbacks.
Yeah, not only that, yes, the cornerbacks and secondary, although rarely recognized, have been playing a good game because he can't find any open receivers, Ken Moylan. Okay, that brings up second and 10.
Up, penalty. And that could be a big one if it's going against CB West. It's already 2nd and 10.
Penalty is against CB West.
You can't have them. They can cost the games, those penalties. They're already down by 14.
And the clock is ticking steadily, as always. 3:40 to go in the third.
Quite an observation.
Well.
Warren wide left.
Moylan. Barking signals.
He rolls
Rolling
again.
out, the flag on the play. Passing into the end zone. Touchdown if it stands. And they're calling it back.
They're bringing it back again. Could that be holding on the CB West offensive line?
It could be. The flag was thrown well after the play had begun. What is it?
It was not holding.
Illegal procedure is the call.
And well,
big penalty nullifies the touchdown. Of course, Norristown did have one of their own touchdowns nullified.
but they rolled out again, and I think maybe he's getting too much time. You can't pressure your cornerbacks to cover for that amount of time. You got to go out and get him somehow. It's just got to be done.
Timeout by CB West.
Remember, they called those too early in the game.
Right, but they got a fresh 3 for the second half, rather.
Indeed.
But they used one of them here, which is
Well, this is late in the third quarter. I see nothing wrong with that.
well, since it's 2nd and 20.
Of course, you are done by 14 points.
And there's a nice view of a cheerleading squad, helped out by a young cheerleader. Give her a couple of years, and she just might crack this squad. Okay.
And by golly, they worked as hard as the rest of us.
Yeah, that group
So how cold it is.
practices quite a bit. And once again, wearing those skirts is no easy job.
It's a nippy night in Roosevelt Field.
Of course, the football players standing on the sidelines are probably somewhat cold themselves.
Kevin Malger, wide left.
Moylan rolling out again.
Oh, and this time,
hit hard. He was chased out of the pocket, and he was hit hard, I believe, by Evans was in.
He was really set up because he juggled the ball and had it out on one hand. And as he was reaching, boy, did he ever get popped. He got drilled.
I'm surprised he walks away from that tackle.
I'm surprised they kept possession.
3rd and 20,
He
yeah.
had the
I think
ball
so.
in front of him out on his fingertips and then got drilled.
And he has fumbled the ball 3 times today. He's come up with his own fumble, though, twice on snaps.
A cold night.
Yeah, that's probably a heck of a factor. He drops back in his pocket,
he slipped.
slips. but he's got running room.
More time.
Instead he passes, almost picked off by number 1, Jeff Thomas. Good defense.
Thomas moved right in front, and also covering well was Ramsey. They were both over there, and good coverage this time.
He had running room, but he didn't have the 20 yards that he needed for the first down.
Definitely not.
Or the touchdown, of course. And looks like field goal time. They're going to attempt to kick the 37-yarder.
Which would put them within 11 of the Eagles.
It's Chris Warren. Snap is high.
Oh boy.
He shanked it well to the right.
If I've ever saw a shank, that was one.
I don't know. Maybe he thought he was kicking towards the other field goal post.
The style there of coaching you see is different as where the Eagles in that situation might go for a run or a pass on that fourth down.
But the Eagles, Rodney Miller has been struggling somewhat this year, especially with the longer kicks. And they feel that they have the confidence to get those gains, especially when they have the lead.
Ramsey is wide left. Sessa back, hands to Rutman again. And he stopped
By number 35, Thad Brennan. Brennan's been making a few plays today.
And well, it seems that CB West stops a few plays, but then they just give up the big one. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, they've had a tough night in terms of giving up big plays.
Ramsey wide right. De Blasio takes the snap, gives to Rutman off left tackle. He moves around the outside, inside, gets a block from De Blasio, and he's up near midfield.
Brought down from behind. Heck of a tackle.
The 45-yard line. Quite a run by Rutman. He made cuts like Freddy Krueger.
Oh! I can't get over it. But it was a nice tackle, or else he would have gone all the way. I think he had some excellent blocking in front of him.
De Blasio made a nice block there. It's a team effort. I pointed out plenty of times.
All right, Sessa set to take the snap. Gives to Smith up the middle, and he gets his 3, which seems to be his specialty, 3 and 4 yards when you need them. And you need a guy like that on your team, definitely.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody who, you know, if you really don't know where to go, you get 3 yards.
Plus, he's a good blocking back. I mean, tonight he's had a few key blocks that give Sessa the extra time to throw up a good pass.
And that's always important. They don't always get recognition for that. But boy, is it ever important.
I haven't seen him miss a block, and that's easier to catch than a well-made block.
Sessa drops, gives to Rutman.
Tripped up by his own man.
I saw another gaping hole there.
Yeah, Chuck Biego was working on a hole there, but Rutman just reached it before he could finish digging it.
Shearing and Fassbender were just spread apart there, and that's where he was looking to go, but no sell. No sale.
You sound like the guy from IKEA. Okay. Sessa turning around a pass. Can't find anyone. He gets hit, but he throws up a pass. Evans is tripped up on the play, and it's picked off by Chris Warren.
I thought he was definitely tripped up, and that left Warren with an open catch of the ball.
But it was somewhat of a, I won't say stupid.
It was a questionable pass. There was double coverage there.
Plus, he was under pressure. It was a good idea to throw it away, but not into the field of play.
And Evans isn't the kind of receiver that's going to jump up between 2 men and catch it, but he was also tripped on the play, so
right.
No harping on him.
Certainly not. He did all he could on that play.
That will end the third quarter.